Oh boy. Let me just check my audio. Make sure all is good. I go to bed early now, so I'm up early. It is good, actually. Audio's fine. Oh shit, they already have highlights from yesterday's Rush show. That was fast. Anyway. So were you all prepared for the bullshit we were handed last night? And let's be real. Objectively real. This is insane. There's just no other way to spin it. And there's no excuses. There's no nothing. You know, I kept saying, oh, this could be a delay for us. Blah, blah, blah. No. Making excuses. No more excuses. Excuses are done. There is no excuses. None. It is embarrassing, Will. Will, what are you doing up so early? It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, dude. Are you going walking before the sun rises? Is it when I was in Arizona, I always got up early, like before the sun rose, because I would go outside and smoke a stogie, because it was still not too bad out, like hot. By 11 o'clock, it was like unbearable in the morning, hot. It's like I got to be in the shade at all times. In Arizona, I was like, I stayed in the shade. Except when I had to be out there walking around in the sun. What the hell are you doing? Oh, man, that sucks. You need to go to somebody and get a massage and try to get that knot out. It's the only way. For real. You got to get... Oh, I hate that. I used to get that when I used to play sports. Oh, my God. And really the only way is to bring it down or take a hot shower and let it just, the water just hit on it. I hate that. That sucks, dude. But anyway, Iran, it's being released. It's too ridiculous. I can't even tell you. They're saying, we never said we agreed to anything like that. The Strait of Iran television. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Today, the Strait of Hormuz is experiencing strong winds and rough seas, but the will of the Iranian fighters is firm and strong, and they are in control of the waterway. They're not relinquishing their control of the strait, no matter what he says. It's going to be open, unrestricted, free travel for anyone. No. Iran is not giving up their leverage, bro. What are you saying? Why are you gaslighting? Why are you telling people bullshit? Because it's a lie. It's a lie. I mean, he has to stop gaslighting and lying. Credibility is important. It seems like at every turn they're begging for a deal. They're the ones that asked me. Actually, I'm seeing reports that it was the Saudis that talked him down, not the Iranians. And yeah, he said, and Middle East countries. Yeah. Singular, not plural. And it had nothing to do with Iran. It was the Saudis. He has to stop gaslighting the American people. He has to stop it. Because his credibility is going down the toilet quick. It's like anything he says you can't trust. Or any of them in the administration. Anything they say, you can't really trust. And that's pathetically sad. Think about that. What else do they lie to us about? I always thought about conspiracies. What is the government lying to us? What are they lying to us about? Everything? From reflecting pools to this, what else are they lying about? What else is this administration lying about? Everything? How do you trust that? The track record is not good. It's making me doubt now. It's making me flip out. And if you don't toe the line, if you're not a loyalist, he goes after you. Look at Jeanine Pirro. It's done. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just insanity already. It's getting, I think that's why I hate to say it as an independent. I honestly don't want to see 2 years of nothing getting done and revenge tour. They're definitely going to lose the House. It's not like people are stupid. People are not naive. They're tired of it. They are tired of it. And I don't understand. And like I said, it's not going to be good. Because then if nothing is getting done now, though they say everything is getting done, if nothing's getting done now, nothing will even, no way get done in the next 2 years. All this is connected. It's like, it's craziness. It's just, Iran will never give up control of the Strait. So when he put out that statement yesterday, and I said I would never talk about this because I'm done after this. It's going to be open. I'm going to save the world. No, you started this. You're not saving shit. You're saving your own ass. That's what you're saving. You're not saving the world. You're saving your own ass. Because you were dying for an off-ramp for all these months. Ceasefire, 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 ceasefire. Negotiations. Oh my God. They should come up. You know they had the Razzle Awards and all these other awards? He doesn't need a Nobel Peace Prize. He needs a prize of embarrassment. That's what he needs. This is embarrassing. And don't get me wrong. I'm all for peace. Peace should be always, diplomacy should always be the choice. War should be the absolute last resort. But look what you're dealing with here. And then I want to make a prosperous Iran? A what? The people who have a price on you? You want to try to make peace with these people? Like they're your buddies now? What you're going to ask them to join the Abraham Accords now? What the is it delusional? It's like delusional. You have to start worrying about the state of mind. I thought Biden was a disaster. I'm starting to doubt now. Is he losing his mind? Oh my God. Is he in a fantasy world? I am telling you, and I'll predict it, and I've been pretty damn accurate. I've been wrong a few times. Everybody's not 100%, even though some people believe they're 100%. Because they can't admit to being wrong. That's their own personal issues. It's like these people, they're martyrs to the end. Well, there's people that are loyal to the end, and they're martyrs in a different way. Which is bizarre. Oh, you don't even want to know Skywalker. It's Groundhog Day. I may have to write a new version of Groundhog Day. So, I don't know if you saw, because I seen it when it came out, and I did shorts. Because I was tired. We'll just go to Truth Social and just read it again. And it's turning out to be full of shit. And gaslighting. He's gaslighting. He's gaslighting again. And that's what disappoints me. This was at 10:05 last night, Eastern. The USA is locked and loaded and ready to go. Oh, but wait a minute. Didn't you say that help is on the way in the very beginning? We're locked and loaded and ready to go? When the protests were going on, and if you harm anyone, and then we find out tens of thousands were slaughtered and massacred in Iran. But help is on the way. The USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against the Islamic Republic of Iran at levels of military terror, strength, and power not seen since World War II. Despite this, we have just been asked by Iran, no, they're completely denying it. It's all over their media. And other Middle Eastern countries, yes, country. Yeah, the Qataris, that's true. The Pakistanis, they're the typical ones, but it was the Saudis. He had a conversation with the Crown Prince on the phone, and the brother was here. They had a meeting, first with Vance, all this, to hold off any attack, and that the parameters of a deal has been agreed to. Again, we're here at a deal. This would include the immediate, complete, and total opening of the Strait of Hormuz, meaning all routes, all traffic, and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. Oh, good luck with that, negotiating their nuclear file. When you eventually, if you do, ever sit down and get past the MOU and actually sit down and do the hard work of actual negotiations and doing the specifics about any kind of a deal. Because Iran is going to say, well, we want money. We want our assets unfrozen. Oh, we want sanctions relief. It's never going to happen. A deal with Iran is never going to happen. They're never going to sign, I don't care if it's an auto pen, a real pen, no pen. They're never going to, at the end of the day, sign any agreement with the United States at the end of the day. After months of negotiation, they're never going to. They're going to gaslight us. That's their game. Let me keep going because it's so disgusting. It made me so pissed off last night and frustrated. I can't even tell you. And an end to Iran's nuclear threat based on this request. Was it their request or were you begging for a deal? Because it sure seems the other way. Based on this request, I have agreed for the future benefit of the world. Oh, really? Of the world? Global economy? Market manipulation? Is that what you mean? And likewise, the survival, just listen to this. Survival of the regime? The survival of a successful and prosperous Iran. What? Wait, what? To cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. So this all depends if they can rapidly make a deal. Now remember, this is not a deal. This is not a deal. The MOU is just an agreement to sit down and have future negotiations to work on a final deal, that which could take months, years, God only knows. The country of Israel joins me in this commitment. Get to work, everybody. Who? Wickoff? Vance? Kushner? Who? Get to work, everybody, and get it done. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. I was like, what the is this? But I said it, and I knew it. Everybody yesterday was thinking last night they were going to hit. And I was like, I gave it a 70-30. Damn, was I wrong. Now, we're going to be right back where we are because Iran is coming out with statements. Oh, no, no, no. Let's see what they're saying now. It's been going on all morning. We never said anything like that. We never agreed to the opening of the strait. We still have control of the strait, and we will continue to control the strait. So they're coming out with contradicting things, saying, "Oh no, 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 no. What do you mean? We never said that." And then you have to wonder. I don't believe the Iranians at all, but in this case, with the way he is, gaslighting all the time on deals, begging for a deal and all that, I don't know who to fucking believe. Because I sure am doubting him. Because he's been desperate for an off-ramp. And do you realize how weak we look? Oh my God. Oh, I said that yesterday, John. No, I have to make a final statement, Race, because this is such an embarrassment and disgrace. This is my final statement. But I don't see, I see this shit happening all over again anyway, because Iran is never going to agree. After the statements I'm reading this morning, Iran's saying, what is he talking about? We're not giving up on the strait. We never said that. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me go back to some of these statements. Yeah, that's horrible, the wildfires in Washington. Oh my God. And I'm not going to talk about this all morning. I'm just going to say my piece and I'm moving on. Fars News Agency. That's the Iranian regime media. There is no agreement regarding the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and the news reports on this subject are false. As long as the hostile actions of the United States continue, the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed, and the movement of ships will only be possible through the designated route and with permission from the naval forces of the IRGC. So what is he saying? It's going to be completely open, unrestricted? It's not what Iran is saying. That's their only leverage. How many times have I say it? They're never going to give up that leverage. They won't. Not until they get something in return. And if he gives them anything, forget it. So all this talk, he said immediate, complete, and total opening of the Hormuz Strait. That's what he said last night in his post. Iran is saying, whoa, hold up. We never said that. So again, who do you believe? I would always say I believe our end, because I don't believe anything the Iranians said. But at this point, every time he says something, Iran does the opposite. It's like there's a pattern here. So we may be right back down this bullshit again next week because Iran is going to refuse to open the strait. This has nothing to do with Europe. Europe didn't start this war. Europe wasn't even involved in this. He didn't even tell them that he was going to do this. He owns this. Not Europe, not anybody else. He owns this. If this was Biden or Obama, would you blame the Europeans for Obama and Biden? I don't think so. To be objectively fair, I don't think so. He owns this mess. He has to finish this mess. So this is the statement he put out last night, and I was like, what the And there are reports coming out. I cannot confirm them because, like I said, when I saw this last night, I was like, what? There are unconfirmed reports that the Saudis are the ones that talked him down. The Saudis. Because they're trying to de-escalate the situation. That's unconfirmed, but that's what's coming out. I would not be surprised because there was a phone call between the Crown Prince and the president. So in that conversation, J.D. Vance was involved with meeting with his brother. I think that was Friday. So I wouldn't be surprised. Um, let me see. Let me see what Shin is saying. Yeah, see, IRGC owned Fars. Shin is saying it 32 minutes ago. Same thing. Here we go. MBS. I knew it. It's Shin is even. OSINT Technical even talked about it. MBS appears to have been one of the major regional figures to have personally communicated this with Trump. Notably, Saudi Arabia refused to provide basic support for Operation Project Freedom in May over similar concerns. So, the Saudi Crown Prince spoke with Trump earlier today and urged the president to de-escalate and refrain from launching strikes on Iran. That was from Axios. So, it looks like it was Saudi Arabia. They had an influence here. And then you can see the comments coming in after this. So it looks like the Saudis had a hand in this. Again, these are unconfirmed, but I'm seeing that all over the place. That it was the Saudis that talked him down. Take it for what it's worth. But I'm not surprised if that's the case. Are you? Look what the Saudis are going through right now with the Yemeni attacks and their oil infrastructure, getting drone attacks from Iraq. Remember, but the bottom line is always the money line. The Saudis are very concerned about their money. Oil is their money. So it's not surprising when you see stuff like this. Let me see what their propaganda. I'm just curious to see what their propaganda. I can't imagine how they're spinning this. So their press TV, claims of Iran agreeing to reopen Hormuz Strait are false. They're not, I keep telling this, and I don't understand what the logic is here. They're not going to give up their leverage. That is their only leverage. They have no other leverage. The strait is their leverage. So all of a sudden they're going to give that up and open up the strait to all traffic everywhere? North, south route? You really think that's what they're going to do? They're just going to say, okay, we'll open it. Everybody could flow through there. Without getting something out of it first? Does that even make sense to anyone? It's not even logical. It's not even rational. So, could we see something end up happening during the week or next week? Absolutely. Because, this is what we're hearing. Oh, there's a deal. There's an agreement. They're going to open the strait completely, unrestricted. No, they're not. So then what happens? Hissy fit? Tantrum? Rhetoric? Does he finally act upon it after how many times of threatening to do it? It's almost like the boy who cried wolf. And every time he does this, it's definitely deemed as weakness by the Iranians. They may be misjudging it, but it's definitely deemed as weakness. They're actually calling his bluff. Do it. Do it. Come on. Hit our infrastructure. Hit all this. Make sure you're able to protect the oil infrastructure in the Arab countries and protect Israel. Because we're coming. You do that to us, we're coming after that. You ready for that? Because that's what they're going to do. So, Iran right now is very emboldened. They feel they got him in a corner. It's never good to corner someone. I don't know what to say. Again, I'm sure it's hard for people to be objective because they're dug in You know what I mean? I try to always be objective, in the middle. And that's not freaking easy. But this is just ridiculous now. This is utterly ridiculous. And every time you hesitate, even if it's just a few days, Russian ships coming into the Caspian. How many times I've said this for months? Being resupplying Iran. Everybody's worried about the Strait. How many times did you hear me talk about the Caspian Sea? And nobody was even paying attention. Some of you were. Nothing was done about it. Israel hit it once. And this bullshit about, oh, the Chinese are not giving them weapons. I believe Xi. I believe Putin. Is he fucking naive, or is that for real? I mean, when he says things, I don't know if it's real or not anymore. Are you kidding? The best solution, the best scenario is to draw this out and the United States to get drawn out into a conflict. They would love to see that. Duh. No. But that's his best buddy. He believes them. The both of them. They are not your friend. They are our biggest adversaries. China, definitely number one. China's economy is not doing well either. Russia's is a disaster. But still, they are our adversaries. And you trust them? When they tell you something? They're fucking laughing at you behind your back. This is utterly ridiculous. Oh, so they're not selling, but maybe they already bought them. You ever think of that? What about that? What if Iran already paid? And what about all the components, logistical support? What about the intelligence being provided, targeting our fucking bases? They're providing to Iran about our personnel, our military at risk. That's not important? It's like insane. So, I don't know what you want to believe. All I know is, does anybody actually believe that Iran is going to agree to open the strait fully, completely, immediately? Is anybody buying that shovel of shit? Is anybody buying that? Because I'm not. Because that would be the most utterly foolish thing Iran can do, is to do that and give up their leverage of the strait. It's not even logical. It's not even rational. They're not going to do it unless, you know what? We might find out a surprise. Iran received $11 billion from Qatar. They unfroze some assets. This is for humanitarian aid to Iran. Watch for that. Watch out for them unfreezing assets. And that's the United States doing it. Remember, they control that. They're the ones that have frozen the assets. Internationally. Watch for that. This is the buyout. Don't be surprised if you see it. So, is that what Iran is looking for? A little cash? You know, maybe some sanction relief. You think they're just going to give this straight away for free? With nothing in return? Are you mad? Are you crazy? Yes, Obama did unfreeze assets, yes. But at least there was a deal. An actual deal. Which was solid if people read it. People see politics clouds people's, it fogs up. Go read that agreement. And it says, I downloaded it, by the way, because people, they never actually read it. They just go based on the politics of it. Iran will never acquire, obtain, whatever, a nuclear weapon. It's in the JCPOA. It's in there. It's not new. This thing about Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. They had surveillance, inspectors, everything. Reduction of centrifuges, all that. It'll be a miracle if we could even get that now. We may not even get anything close to the JCPOA. And there's also the part where Iran controls the Strait now. What? What? How many military personnel have been injured and sadly lost? You want to bring up Benghazi? You want to bring up the withdrawal of Afghanistan? This is a fucking disaster so far. Billions and billions of dollars spent, stockpiles dwindled. For what? Tell me what this was worth if you don't finish the job. You tell me how this is not a disaster. Bases destroyed, damaged. Well, how is the morale of the military? And do I gotta continue? This is not about blaming or, because that's the first thing, deflection. Well, what about what they did? No, we're not talking about what they did, because what they did was incompetent too. What's going on now is what's important. Present, future. And this is a shit show. As simple as you, that is the simplest way to put it. This is a shit show. I don't think anybody can sugarcoat it, can you? Make excuses for what's going on right now? I sure am not. This is a shit show. It's unbelievable. We're not talking about Fauci. Again, that's deflection, talking about a different topic. Skywalker, no offense. We're not talking about Fauci. And he was pardoned, and he took the fifth. The president took the fifth overall. How many times during his hearing in New York? They do it all the time. Some people refuse to go to hearings while they were subpoenaed. So I'm not making excuses for any of them. Both red and blue. They both do it. Then they issue pardons like it's candy. I mean, let's be honest. All of them do this. This is not one political party or the other. They all do this. And to me, that's bullshit, because they're not being held accountable. Period. And I could tell you what Cuomo did here in this state was a disgrace, especially with the nursing homes. That's why but at least he's that. Didn't take much. Then he had that other little thing on the side going on. But they need to be held accountable, all of them. Not one party, all parties. Not just one, all. Like, same thing, how many times were there hearings on Benghazi? I want hearings on what happened at the Fifth Fleet location where witness testimony, I could read you one, because I saved one. How incompetent the defense was at that base, that they felt unsafe. And they told their superiors that we need better defense here. 6 people lost their lives there. Others were injured. We need an investigation on that. To be fair, the same way it happened in Benghazi, I want to see what happens. I want an investigation about what happened at that base. To be fair. It just doesn't work one side. It has to be balanced. And I don't understand how people just don't understand that. It's very convenient when it's based on party. Of course it is. But it's really hard to be objective. That's the trick. Let me see if I find it. Because I have it. And it was one witness testimony during a hearing that was submitted. And there's more. There are more witnesses that were there with their testimony that were injured. Sworn under oath testimony. Oh boy. I want to see more about that. For sure. People need, because this cannot happen again. It just can't. Let me see. I have actually the link, but I'll read because I copied it. U.S. troops who survived the Iranian drone attack this is another place, on Port Shuaibah, Kuwait, that killed 6 American soldiers, say senior commanders ignored repeated warnings that the base was vulnerable to attack. According to the report, survivors said requests for stronger air defenses, hardened shelters, not those prefabs, hardened shelters, and improved protection were not acted upon before the strike. Several said they fear no one will be held accountable for the failures that preceded one of the deadliest attacks on U.S. forces during the war. How about that? You don't want to hear more about that? I do. I want a public hearing. I want a public hearing. What's up, Moses? It's not even about that. I'm concerned now because the Republicans are most likely going to lose the House. I'd probably put money on that one. If I was betting, I'm putting money on it. Unless something happens behind the scenes that makes that different. But that's just going to make matters worse, to be honest. The Republicans will have lost control of one house. That means lame duck for 2 years. That does not help the country at all. I'm just being honest. The Democrats are going to be on a revenge tour, like they always have been. This is a pattern. No? Impeachment, bringing people to testify, hearings everywhere. Nothing's going to get done. I mean, is that what we really need right now? But that's what's going to happen. That doesn't help the country. I'm just saying, again, being objective. Does that really help the situation? No, not at all. So, but it most likely will happen. And yes, communism is the new scare word. And yes, I always say this. It doesn't matter what the Democrats do. It doesn't matter what the Republicans could do, because they've got their core base. They're going to vote loyal support no matter what. It's the independents. I don't know how many times I have to say this. And right now, independents are not feeling what's going on right now. They're just not. You need them to win. That's the reality. You know what I mean? The Democrats and the Republicans are going to do their thing. They're going to, their bases are going to vote for their, whoever it is. You can't win alone on that. That's like 35% of the voting. You need people to cross over. Both sides need it. And those independents are vital. And I'm not a fan of polls at all. I don't trust polls. But right now, I would think independents cannot be happy at what's going on right now. Because they're moderates. They're not extremists. Whether it's right or left. They're not there. They're in the middle. They could definitely lean right or left. I think most independents lean right. So that might be helpful. You know what I mean? So that's what we got to look to. Because a lot of this, and I'm going to tell you this right now, I would not be surprised if Iran throws a wrench in everything by September and does something just to try to screw over the president politically for the midterms. Do not be surprised. And you're hearing me say this first. Do not be surprised they pull some kind of stunt like that. Because honestly, They can't stand him. And you know what they want to do to him. You think they're going to make his life simple? Even if they do agree by a miracle to sit down and have negotiations together for months, it could take months, it could take years. They will purposely screw things up to affect our midterms. I mean, they've done it, right? In other ways. And you don't think they're going to try to interfere with our way of doing things here for the midterms? Of course they will. They're not going to make life easy for him. So I would not be surprised. And then also, let's just say, by some miracle that they actually sit down to negotiate, like really negotiate. What do you think is coming so soon? Cuba. Cuba's coming. Cuba's coming soon. Oh, they're coming out with more stuff now. Cuba's definitely next. In my opinion, Cuba's definitely next. And that could be the whole distraction away from everything else. While things, if things quiet down and they're actually negotiating and some miracle Iran decides to open the strait fully, which I don't see happening. But let's just say it does. And things start to simmer down and quiet over there while they're trying to negotiate, like really negotiate specifics. The shiny object will then be turned to Cuba. Take the focus off Iran, shine it on Cuba to get people's attention on that. Because people have short attention spans in general. They do. Here's the new shiny thing going on. I would not be surprised at all. So let's see how this all plays out. But based on this, they're going to open the strait fully? Oh, I'll believe that when I see that. And if it happens, I'll be happy. Because maybe that could be a way to eventually get to the table and start talking for real. Because we're not there. This is not a deal. This is an agreement. MOU is an agreement to then sit down and talk about all the different points that they're going to address. That could take months. It could take years. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to see what they're putting in here now. I can't imagine. Okay, that's not related. What are they saying here? See, again, they put out stuff. This is the Telegram accounts for the followers of the regime. The number of aircraft departing from Israeli air bases and heading towards Iraq and Saudi Arabia is higher than usual. Whatever that's supposed to mean. They always read too much into stuff. They look at flight radar like they have people they're obsessed with looking at it. And that's what they're saying there. So it's kind of quiet now. Let me see what else is going on. They're just doing that. Okay, let's go to that source. Everybody's referring to this one. I don't know if they put it on their X though. I don't see anything on that account unless it's on their website. Because I ain't seeing nothing. They're all saying that they're the ones saying it, and I don't see no evidence of that. Okay, that's their X account. I'm going to have to translate it. Oh, we're going back to here. It keeps taking me back to there. Okay, so this is Fars. Remember, take it for what it's worth. It's their media outlet, Iran. This was 48 minutes ago. Fars reposted this. Large numbers of commercial vessels were seen waiting north of the Strait. North, remember, not south. South is the American route. The Strait of Hormuz on August 2nd, and as Iran's armed forces maintain restrictions on passage through the strategic waterway. So I don't know what immediate meant, because it sure doesn't look like immediate opening of the strait right now. Based on what Fars is putting out there. Take it for what it's worth. So Fars is reposting this. There's that. 2 hours ago, so it did come from Fars. Informed Iranian sources have dismissed claims circulated by several hostile media outlets alleging that the Islamic Republic of Iran has agreed to plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, stressing that Tehran's policy regarding the strategic waterway remains unchanged. So I'm not seeing any indication that they're about to give that up. Now, maybe I will be surprised and they do. Like the president said, immediate, complete, unrestricted opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Right now, what do you think is going to happen? You think the strait's going to be open completely? Based on what the president said last night? Do you? Really? I don't. Iran's not going to, I'm telling you, I've been saying it over and over, Iran is not going to give up that leverage unless they get something significant in return. They're not just going to open it. What do they gain from that? What do they gain from that? They lose their leverage. It's the most stupidest, ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It's maddening. But I can't say surprised anymore because I'm not surprised at anything that happens anymore. I'm not surprised at anything anymore. So I can't say I'm surprised because it seems like that's always the case now. Groundhog Day on steroids. I'm looking at other. Let me see what Iran International says, if anything. They're anti-regime. It's the typical players. It's the typical players. Qatari Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin, don't even try to do that, read that. Abdul Rahman Al Thani on Sunday called for implementing the U.S.-Iran Memorandum of Understanding, including provisions guaranteeing freedom of navigation to the Strait of Hormuz. He made the remarks in separate phone calls with the Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan and Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi. Qatar's foreign ministry said The officials discussed diplomatic efforts and regional coordination aimed at reducing tensions and strengthening security and stability. He urged all parties to adhere to dialogue and diplomacy and reiterated Qatar's support for efforts to reach a comprehensive agreement securing lasting peace in the region. Yeah, okay. Oh, look, he made even a statement. A member of Iran's, and this is what I mean. There was no regime change, technically, yes, maybe. You still got all these nut jobs in Iran. Hundreds of them. In the regime. He's the member of the parliament. And he's in the national security. Warned that the United States could wage an infrastructure war and seek to incite truck drivers. This mouse proposed forming a joint body involving a parliament's construction committee and foreign policy officials to focus on transport. Let's see what else. This is an anti-regime site. Iran has not reached any agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. IRGC Media. Remember, this is what I keep saying too. Who the hell does the United States think they're talking to get an agreement? Who do they think they're talking to? Ghalibaf? The foreign minister? The deputy foreign minister? Without IRGC approving anything, or the alleged cardboard mouse, nothing's getting done. Sorry. You're dreaming. That's fantasy. They're the ones that make the call. Not Ghalibaf. Not the foreign minister. Matter of fact, they're worried for their own lives by the hardliner supporters in Iran. And there's millions of them. Do not get twisted. There are millions of them. Could be 3 million, 4 million, whatever number you want to throw up there. So, again, for those who've been involved with this since the beginning, like some of us, we know the bullshit. This is not new to us. For some it might be, who aren't paying attention every day like we have been. But not to a lot of us who have. So, I mean, you could buy it. You know? You could spray it gold, make it look better. Dress it up in a suit. It's still a piece of shit. This is pathetic. It is far from over, Camilla, I agree, because Iran is not going to agree to it. They're not. So sometime this week, when they don't open the strait, you're going to hear the yelling, the rhetoric, frustration, and probably next weekend we'll all be talking about the United States is planning another big strike against Iran. Groundhog Day on steroids. So I agree. That's it. Oh, you saw it, Emanuelo? Cool hand, Luke. So again, we all have our opinions. That's fine. I'm just expressing my own. Doesn't mean it's right. But we'll see. I'm telling you, we're going to be right back to the same thing probably by midweek. Preparing for next weekend. We're going to be right back where we are right now. Or not right now, where we were Friday. Thinking the big one is coming. Possibly Israel joining in. Of course, he won't listen. Of course not. I mean, he might be listening to certain people calling him, urging him to stand down. That I would not be surprised. The same way people say that Netanyahu influenced him to start this, I'm sure there are many people that are on the flip side that are calling him to de-escalate it and don't do it. Can you imagine some of these Middle Eastern country leaders calling him and saying, don't do it, don't do it. Pakistan, the usual suspects. Qatar, God only knows who else. The Saudis, it looks like the Saudis were involved. Big time. Please don't do it. Think about the ramifications. The ramifications to us. They're vulnerable. Our sites are vulnerable. We can't even protect them. Could you imagine the damage to the oil infrastructure globally? If Iran were to strike the oil infrastructure in the Middle East? Oh my God. You can forget about the Strait. The Strait will be not even worth anything because nothing's going to flow. There's no oil to produce. And do not think that threat is not real. That threat is very real. Yeah, we might put them back to the Stone Age, but you think they're just going to take that lightly like that? And they're not going to retaliate with everything they got and destroy everybody with them? You willing to bet on that? The president has to consider all that. It's not just taking action, it's the consequences of an action. So there's a lot involved here. I said up to this point, if you notice what I wrote, up to this point, I'm done. And after I talk about it now, I'm done. I just had to make a statement after last night. Until I see anything relevant, I mean like really relevant movement, either diplomatically, like for real, or if we do a strike, that's a game changer, both ways. Then yes, but as of right now, this back and forth nonsense that happens every week for months, I'm done. It's like an emotional roller coaster. It's being taken for a ride. Until something significantly develops here, and I mean game-changing development, I'm not going to go crazy with this nonsense back and forth. Why waste the energy? We've been here for over 3 months now since the ceasefire was put into place months ago. What's changed from that? I'll tell you what's changed. We lost a few more of our precious service members and others injured, bases hit. We smacked them around too, which a lot of people are maybe underestimating how much damage we're doing to them too, because we are. But is it enough? At this point, it doesn't look like it's enough because Iran is not going to capitulate, because they would rather die as martyrs than to give up. They're in survival mode. The regime is in survival mode. How many times do we have to say this? You just expect them to roll over and give up? Do you expect that? They don't care about the people. They only care about themselves. That's what we're dealing with, terrorists. We're negotiating with terrorists. I know, right, Skywalker? It's just craziness. It is stressful. I've been saying, can we please just finish the freaking job? But is finishing the job, can it be done by air power or sea power? Is that enough to make them capitulate and get back to a table? Because remember, anything that we do as a major strike is to try to get them back to the table to negotiate from a point of weakness, our position of strength. At least that's the logic involved. We'll pound them until they have no choice but to come to the table and negotiate, because the end result will be negotiate. That is the game. That's the plan. Bomb them into submission. You think that's going to work? Do you honestly think that's going to work? It could. Um, Oil fishing could be fixed. No pain, no gain. We didn't worry about that. About what? I don't. Yeah. Yes. But it's easy for us to say that. Even whatever damage is done is going to stop everything. How long can that happen for? Months? The global oil supply? Did you see how much the oil companies here in the United States, Exxon, they made so much profit when the prices went up? Did you see that? I think it was double. They're going ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching to the bank on the profits they're making. I think it was Exxon and another one. Oh, they're not having no problem with it. They're making tons of money. Let's see if they have. Let me see. I'm going to go to financial. It was Exxon and Chevron. Let me see. There's not many articles. Let's see what this one is saying. Look. Chevron posted largest quarterly profit ever. And Exxon income surges as Iran war squeezes oil supply. Ever. The profits. So who's making money on this? What about the contractors? Defense contractors. Military industrial complex. They see the money in their eyes so big. Oh my gosh. And that's to be expected. The prices went up, they profited, of course. It's capitalism. But at the same time, let me see if I could find it. I know I have it. Bookmarked. At least I thought I had it bookmarked. Because you have to see the whole picture. I'm making that marry me chicken today. I'm going to do that. Somebody mentioned it. I got to do that. Damn, I had the site. Let me do this one. Okay. Here we are. The worst since the early 80s. The oil reserves are decades low. Decades low. It was the early 80s since it's been this low. Look how it dropped. Then we had a little bump up when they opened it and ships were traveling through a little bit. Look where it is now. It's at the lowest in decades. Since 82, 83. That's the oil reserves. We are at a very critical part here. This can't continue. We can't keep dipping into the oil reserves. It's the lowest since the early 80s. That's not good at all. So, Jesus Christ, we got to do something about this. So people say, oh, we got plenty of oil. We got plenty of oil. We got Venezuelan oil. We're drill, 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 baby. Well, look what the oil reserves are at right now. This is not good. It's just not good. Like I said, you have to go back all the way to the early 80s. This is 1990. Early 80s that it's been this low. No bueno. That's no bueno. All right. Marianne says more than 3/4 of those reporting are fake. Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation and fake and clickbait. A lot of clickbait. That's why I wrote that song. There's a lot of clickbait. I watch programs. Michael K is a good one to see how other people live and survive around the world. U.S. isn't ready for ground war. Yes. Ghost. Only reference is diplomacy. But that is the ultimate goal, diplomacy. Even Vance said that. At the end of the day, diplomacy has to be the result to solve this. Even if we hit them so hard to get to the table, it still, at the end of the day, goes back to diplomacy. I totally agree, Ghost. Well, you got to see, if Israel sees any potential threat, do they act alone? But they're on their own. They'll probably cancel them like they did with the Ukraine elections. It's how dictators stay in power. Wartime is good for corrupt. It's not just that. War is a money machine, sadly. It just is. That's part of it. Even post-war, do you know how much countries are going to be wanting to buy certain things moving forward? It's a ka-ching. I'm telling you, it's all about money. It isn't sustainable. People don't realize that, though, John. They don't realize that. It's not sustainable. You cannot keep tapping into the reserves. Because they're thinking that at some point this is going to get resolved. They're banking on it. They're betting on it. What if it doesn't? They are banking on that. It's a gamble. They're definitely taking a gamble. Thinking that at some point the strait will be open. And remember, how many times did we say this? And Marianne and a few of you know. I say it again 1,000 times. Before this campaign even started, how many times did we say the priority should be to keep that strait open and don't let it fall into the hands of Iran to use as leverage? How many times did we say that? And look what happened. Easier said than done, of course. Armchair quarterback, of course. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, of course. But it should have been a priority. Let's not forget, April 8th, 6 weeks almost after this. Oh! We didn't consider the small boats, or actually the small attack ships they used, something like that. We didn't consider them a threat, so we didn't go after them. That should have been part of going after if you wanted to keep that straight. No? They weren't a threat to us. We didn't consider them a threat. That's what it said. We didn't consider them a threat. That has always bothered me to my core when I read that on April 8th. On a post. What? What incompetent decision maker decided that? That is absolute incompetent. And that was one of the reasons that the strait became what it is today, an Iranian threat and control. Because most of the ships that travel, unless they have their tracking system off and they're trying to get through, the US way. Most of them are going the Iran way. I think at this point, a lot of them would pay the toll. If shipping could get back to 100, 120 a day, they might just say, fuck this. We'll pay the toll. At least oil is flowing. Unbelievable. And even if they pay, it'd still be might less than what the barrel is going for now. Follow? Because they're gonna, of course, when something goes up, they make the customer pay. The consumer pays. But even with that, do you see what I'm saying? They might say, screw it, we'll pay it. We'll charge them per barrel. We'll raise the barrel maybe by $5 to cover our costs. What's $5? If it was 70, how much was oil in 2025, the barrel? 65? 70? So if it went up to 75, is anybody going to complain a barrel being 75 because they're paying tolls? Think about that rationality. Is it not better than what's going on right now? They might be saying, and I'm just speculating, they might be saying, screw this, we'll pay the toll. We just want to get through. Oh my God. Oh my God. So when you look at it objectively, rationally, you know what I mean? Oh my God. Cool hand, Luke. But you guys understand what I'm saying? I don't think there would be an issue. The only problem is Iran gets to dictate who flows through and who doesn't. What if they don't like the country traveling through the strait? They say, oh, well, you're not allowed through. But again, let's just think about this. If they made a deal with Oman to control the strait together, you can go the Omani way. You're still going to have to pay, but you're not coming through our way. I don't know how that would work. Say Israel had a ship, a tanker, leaving Iraq, and they got to go through the strait to get there and come back. Well, you're the enemy. We're not letting you through. If you try, we're going to shoot at you. Then what? We're back into a disaster. It's that fragile. Moving forward. This is worse than when it was before, because before this started, there was free movement, international waterway of vessels, 100, 120 a day. We didn't have all this nonsense going on that we have going on right now. And Iran has said that we're not going back to pre-war conditions concerning the strait. That has to change. Will it change? Hopefully. But it made matters worse. Didn't make it better. This is a problem. I think countries would go for it because now they're getting their oil, Marianne. The bottom line is getting their oil supply. That's the bottom line. Would you pay a little extra to get something you want? You'll be pissed, right? But would you pay it if you wanted it? Or if you needed it? I mean, do we not pay when prices go up here for stuff? We bitch and moan and complain, but do we get it still? Think of that logic. Yes. Generally speaking, yes. We might bitch and moan and say, oh my God, how come it went up so much? You'll complain, and like I said, but at the end of the day, are you not going to get it or are you going to get it? It's a need, a necessity. That's like me sitting here, which I haven't checked. I got an heating oil. It's higher. I'm not happy about it, but I need it. So I'm going to pay. What am I going to do? Go dry? It's different to want than to need or have to get. You know? Need is the word, yes. And that's just the way it is. I mean, I can't think of any other alternative way to put it. Look, let it. Ah! I got the black seed oil up there still. Let us not. Like I said yesterday, up to this point, because I'm done. I swear I'm not talking about this unless it was something significant. But I have to get this off my chest this morning. But I'm not going to bring this shit up again until something significant happens. I'm not. I'm not going to be driven. I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to let this get to my health, because it is. Even though I'm a hypocrite smoking a cigarette, because this is nerves. And that's still not an excuse. I'm being a hypocrite. I'm just being honest. Let's not. No. It's not over. Like somebody said earlier in the chat, this is far from over. I think it was someone, Camilla from Florida. This is far from over. I'm just pissed to this point that we're back to here. And being told that they're going to open the strait completely, immediately, unrestricted. Because to me, that's gaslighting bullshit. Because I don't think Iran's going to agree to that. So I think right there, that's bullshit. That's what got me upset. But Iran's not going to do it. So we're going to be back to, okay, Iran doesn't want to agree to open the strait. Now I'm going in and I'm going to hit them big time. We're going to be back to that by midweek. If I had to be a betting person, I would say that's going to happen by midweek. If not earlier. Could happen tomorrow. It could happen today. Iran is not cooperating, even though they said they would. This is what they do all the time. They say they're going to do something, and then they change their mind. And blah, 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 blah. So now we're going to hit them hard. You don't think that's going to happen? This ain't over. The thing is, where do we go? This is not over. But like I said, until like somebody said in chat, will you cover it if things happen, if they strike, the big strike happens? Of course I will. But it's going to take something really significant for me to talk about this shit anymore. Because I'm tired of the runaround. Iran is not stupid. They're not going to give up their leverage. That would be so utterly foolish on their part to give up their only leverage. Unless they're paid off. They might take it for the money. And then put a number on it for 60 days. We'll do it for 60 days. But we want money up front first. But everybody be happy because flow will start. Maybe. Right? Get more tankers going through. But it's temporary. It's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid. If that were to happen. But you think Iran is going to give up the strait for free? Are you serious? They're just going to say, okay, we're going to open it now. We'll go back to the table. We're going to open it. Without getting anything in return for it? Their major leverage piece that is holding this whole situation hostage? Really? Oh, God. You could believe that. I don't believe it. But you could believe that. I could be completely wrong. Let me see if they're saying anything. This all has to do with Lebanon. So nothing new on this front. It's early yet, though. It's only 8:10. Keep an eye on Truth Social if he changes his tune, even 12 hours from last night. Because it was posted at 10:05 last night, p.m. Eastern. It's only 8:08 right now. The day is young. Or maybe it's connected to what I'm seeing right now. So he's been up. He posted twice. Um, but this is an interesting one he shared. This is interesting. He shared this post. Now, I can't play the audio. Trump administration creating incubators to develop new tech to counter drone terror attacks. Terrorism through drone warfare is the new frontier of attack, and the U.S. is combating this threat on multiple fronts. I'll put this article in chat. He shared this on Truth Social. You guys can look this over. He shared that on his Truth Social just now. So if you guys want to read this article on how we're dealing with countering the drone warfare, it's here. This is what he just posted. Shared, actually. He reposted that. If you guys want to look into it. So I don't want to just get into that right now and read that whole article. I'll do that on my own time. But don't forget, because some people have short term and forget, like I do. Remember the talk that Qatar was going to give Iran $11 billion, but they wanted it to be a loan? Remember that? It was going to be a loan to Iran, but they had to use it for humanitarian aid for the people of Iran. Remember that talk? Well, the only way Qatar was going to loan it to them, but the United States was going to unfreeze that money so that Qatar can give it to Iran. It was almost like a bribe. And watch. You got to put the pieces together. You have to put the pieces together. Watch. Which countries and banks hold Iran's frozen assets, and how much do they hold? So, this is the estimate, right? It's held around the entire world. China widely believed to hold the largest single share. And then Qatar, blah, 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 and the United States has a very small percentage actually of actual frozen Iranian assets. It's around the world in different banks, country by country. China, frozen funds, estimated anywhere from 20 billion to as much as 50 billion held in Chinese banks. India and South Korea. Iraq. Qatar is now reporting Iran holding 12 billion. Remember that number. And look what it says here. Meant for humanitarian only disbursements after a 2023 transfer from South Korea. There it is. Right there. They were willing to do that. It's complicated with the United States. Directly holds a much smaller but legally complicated stock. $2 billion in international accounts with conservative estimates of judgment-linked assets held on the U.S. process run higher. So the United States, through the international banking system, has prevented other countries from releasing this money because of sanctions to Iran. So it's a little complicated. But you get the idea. I was off by $1 billion. Estimates say 12 billion. Do you not remember when there was that talk about Qatar sending 12 billion to Iran? It's the frozen assets. Keep an eye on that. keep an eye on that. If all of a sudden money's being sent to Iran to try to get them convinced to come back to the negotiation table, just keep an eye on it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Don't, just keep an eye. Don't be surprised if you hear something like that. Money is the straight or the strategy? Is that what it is? Ghost. Yes, Bill and Trump's one opportunity to make a profit for USA. With again, I'm not going to touch on that. I will say, Dave, the main objective is to get the markets and the economy under control, especially with the midterms coming up. It's also political. And yes, money to be made, whatever. Because there are a lot of countries leaning now on getting their oil from us. That's why Exxon and Chevron made record profits ever. Go look up it yourself. Record profits ever. Got to make them happy, right? So it's all connected. And I don't think there's any American that is complaining about the prices coming back down. I sure as hell am not complaining. And that's just honest. Nobody wants to see the prices go back up. Nobody. In their right mind, who wants to pay more? That's part of the strategy. Market manipulation. Because you notice every time he says something, they react. And I don't know if I don't expect too much of a change going into tonight's markets opening in Asia and then tomorrow morning here. I don't see much stuff coming out today as far as like rhetoric. So let's see. But I don't think this lasts a couple of days. Because like I said, let's ask this question. Oh my God, Skywalker. Oh my God. Troopazilla got you? Oh my God, dude. Exactly how do they know it's going to go for humanitarian aid? Is it actually going to the people? The regime's going to pocket it for themselves. You think that money's actually going to trickle down to the people of Iran? Hell no. Oh God, no. I totally agree with you, Marianne, 100%. Trump has till Labor Day to make it happen. And that's what I'm saying, Cool Hand Luke. But you see, Iran may play that card to make things even harder for him in September. They may actually agree to negotiate and then screw him over September, early October, to make it impossible for him. Do you think that, just think of the rhetoric and we saw what was going on live during the funeral of the mouse, calling for our president, all that insane stuff they were saying, the banners and everything else. Did you see, I saw the latest one, I don't know if it's AI though, the latest one in the square in Tehran. They don't like him, that's to say the most respectful way. They want him gone. They're not, what do you expect, them to all of a sudden become your friend? They're not going to help you. They want to destroy you. Like literally. You think they're going to help you? Watch out for that card. Watch out for that card. I can be completely wrong, but I would not be surprised they do it. Start shit up, stir shit up again in September. Cause prices to go back up right before the midterms. What a way to affect our elections, huh? They don't even have to do it intentionally. By hacking, cyber attacks, whatever you, social media posts, whatever. All they got to do is take action and stir shit up again. It's as simple as that. It's all they got to do. Do you see what I'm saying? It won't take much to disrupt everything all over again. It's that fragile. And I wouldn't doubt they do it. Things could be cool, calm, quiet, nice. Things look nice. Ships are traveling again. The markets are stabilizing. Only to, oopsie, Iran decided to strike a few vessels. And they're going to close the strait again. Then what? They might even do something crazier. They might hit some infrastructure. And then there's the Yemen equation. In that strait, it looks like things have quieted down a little bit, no? There's still a blockade for Saudi tankers. Is that gone now? Is the Saudi oil now going to flow through the Strait of Hormuz? And near Yemen? Because you got to remember, the Saudis, it looks like the Saudis were definitely involved in talking the president down because they know now they're screwed. Both ways, through the strait and through the strait entering the Gulf of Aden. They got completely choked off, both. Because their east-west pipeline, they were doing a lot of oil out of there now. As far as I know, the Houthis still have a blockade on Saudi tankers, right? So now they're cut off on both ends. So the Saudis are freaking out. That's why they're calling the president, don't do it, don't do it. We're trying to de-escalate. Of course they are. They're looking out for their self-interests. They're losing a ton of money. Does that not make sense? That they'd be the ones going frantic about this? You should have thought about that when you did a joint operation with the United States hitting those areas in Iraq. Craziness. It is crazy. And I don't know, I mean, of course, they are vile, heinous, vicious. I mean, has anyone heard anything from the rats about a ceasefire? IRGC is already, their media outlet is saying, no, we're not agreeing to that. The strait is still under our control and will remain that way. That's what they're saying. But remember, what is said in public and social media can be totally different than what's going on behind the scenes. They could be saying that because their people are paying attention too, their supporters are paying attention. And I don't think they want to be seen as being weak either in Iran. So they have to do that game too. Works both ways. They have to play that game too. So it could be real. It could be. I don't think it is, but it could be. I want to see traffic flowing. I want to see evidence flowing that the strait is completely open, completely. North, south, not the middle because there's mines, allegedly. I want to see ships flowing like it used to be. Not 8 a day, not 20. I want to see it get back to, well, if there's only 2 lanes, I don't know how much you can expect if they allow the whole strait to be opened. like the president said, immediate, complete, and unrestricted travel to the Strait. Um, how many ships get it through a day? And it's going to take time. It's not going to be 100 like it used to. Not for a while. So what will it be? Will that be something that they can achieve? You know? I was seeing that too about El Nino. Let me see. Let me go here. Let's just take a look. Why does it keep doing that to me? Why are you doing that to me? Okay, let's take a look. And again, this is not like flight radar. It's slow. And I got to do all this stuff over because I got the tankers. Okay. The tankers are in that color. We don't need all this other shit. Yachts. We need to look at, we don't need dredgers. We can keep military. We don't need passage and cruise. Could you imagine taking a cruise to the Strait? Cargo will leave, military, okay. So this is marine traffic. The tankers are in this color. This is cargo. This is the U.S. tolled route, the southern route. This is the Iranian route up here. So it's going to be interesting to see who takes what the movement is here. All right, we're there. So let's see. Let's see who moves where. But I'm not seeing any tankers really on the move right now. At least with their trackers on. The circles are anchored. These are the ones that are on the move. And there ain't many of them. So let's see if we see evidence in the next 24 hours of actual movement, not just here, the Iran way, but here. I want to see complete, immediate, unrestricted traffic through here. The evidence will speak for itself. Because right now, I'm not even going to do playback because there's no movement. Right now, would you say this cargo vessel is going the U.S. way or the Iran way? It looks like it right now, just based on its course, it's going the Iran way. How many are willing to take the U.S. way? We'll find out. So keep an eye on that. I want to see evidence that there's unrestricted, complete, immediate access, free flow of traffic here. I guess we'll play back. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll play back 24 hours. It's supposed to be immediate. Unless there's a different meaning for the word immediate. Now, if you're an insurer or an owner of these tankers, are you going to take the chance of going through? The Strait is open. It's completely open. You can now travel unrestricted. It's safe. Would you do it? I think they're going to be very hesitant to take that word. Um, do you understand what I'm saying? Uh, exactly, John. I think a lot of people have that sentiment, Marianne and Ryder. I'm sure a lot of people do. Yes, Frag out. Frag out said, great example on why you never take half measures. Should have put the horse down immediately. Or I get what you're saying. Immediately and full stop. And we'd all been better off for it, optics and all. Um, it's not, forget about Arachi. Forget about what the foreign minister says. Forget about what Galibaf says. Eugene, forget about them. Those are not, those are puppeteers. It matters what the IRGC says. And the cardboard mouse might send a message out. Or the hardliners. It doesn't matter what the foreign minister says, Arachi and Galibaf and them. They're puppets. They don't represent anything in Iran. They're just mouthpieces. What matters is what the IRGC says, and the hardliners say, and the cardboard mouse, allegedly. That's what matters. Not what Arachi says. Or the president, which has been very quiet, of Iran. I don't even know what happened to him. And Galibaf. What they say don't matter. What matters is what the IRGC says. Specifically, Vahidi. I'd be paying attention to what he has to say. Because remember, anything has to go through them to be approved. Anything. And again, we can get back to it one more time because I am so fed up with it. Iran is not going to give up their leverage. They're going to keep saying, we control the Strait, we control the Strait, we control the Strait. Not the United States. They don't dictate the terms. We dictate the terms. That's what they're going to keep saying. That's their leverage. They're not going to give up their leverage. They have no reason to. Not right now. Maybe if we bomb the shit out of them relentlessly, maybe they'll come to the table. Maybe. That's not set in stone. That could be wishful thinking, and hope that's the case. Doesn't make it so. It's unbelievable. So, like I said, it might be quiet for a day or two. When was the last time we struck? Wednesday night? I don't think Thursday. Was it Wednesday? When was the last time we did a strike in Iran? Somebody can help me with that. So now there's been another pause because of negotiation talk. Another pause. Oh my God. I'm seeing if there's any other stuff. It's very quiet. It's early in the morning. Nothing. Very quiet. Let me check True Social. See if he did anything else. No. Just those two this morning. Let me check. Fatux. Fatux doesn't really stay up on things too much. See, the IRGC outlet FARS put this out. Again, could be worthless. It could be absolute bullshit. but this gives you an example. FATUX, 3 hours ago, based on state-run FARs. A source close to the nuclear negotiation team told FARs there is no agreement regarding the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and the news published about this is false. Furthermore, a military source emphasized, I hate when they say that, as long as the United States continues its hostile actions, the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, and the passage of ships will only be possible through the designated route and with permission from the Navy of the IRGC. Hours ago, some media outlets affiliated with the enemy claimed that Iran had agreed to a plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a plan on which ships would enter the Persian Gulf through Iranian territorial waters and exit through Omani territorial waters. So they're saying it's false. And they keep re-emphasizing it. Now this is old, forget about that. This, up here. Now, believe what you want. Believe what you want. And that's it. That's the... Look. Iranian Foreign Minister Arachi overnight agreed to a Qatari-U.S. compromise to reopen the strait, prompting U.S. President Donald Trump to call off planned retaliate. That was Israel 12. Well, how long did that last? Under the proposal, Gulf-bound shipping would enter to the Iranian territories and exit. Really? Exit versus Omani waters? Though Oman has requested formal confirmation that the IRGC backs the deal. Key. Forget about Arachi. It's this. Unless they agree, it ain't happening. And that's the crux. He's a puppet. He's the lower end of the scale. So I wonder what he's going through this morning in Iran. Be interesting. So there you go. But Oman is like, wait. I'm not going to believe this until the IRGC says it's true. Well, IRGC media outlet said this morning, no. It's not happening. And remember when all that talk about the conflict in Iran between parties, people, you could see it exist. But who at the end of the day is calling the shots? Arachi or the IRGC? Come on. Eugene, that's not the point. I'm telling everybody, take it for what it's worth. It could be bullshit. How the hell do I know? Do we know what's going on behind the scenes? Does anybody really know what's going on behind the scenes? I sure don't. But based on them, what they're saying, But you were willing to believe Arachi said that the deal was done? Like I said, what did I say prior to this? Until I see evidence that there is movement completely in the strait, then I'll say, oh, it's really happening. Until then, it's absolute speculation because there's no evidence either way. There is none. One says immediate, complete, unrestricted travel through the strait. And that doesn't even make sense that they're going to go into the Gulf the Iranian way and exit the Gulf the Omani way. Do you think Iran is going to agree to all traffic going the Omani way? Because what they're trying to do is create a flow of traffic, consistent flow. One coming in and one going out, which makes sense. You come in through the Iran way, you leave through the Omani way. You think Iran is going to agree to the Omani way of tankers leaving the Gulf? On this proposal plan, allegedly? Hell no. Absolutely no way. But we're led to believe that. So, reach your own conclusions. If I'm betting, it ain't happening. How many times did we hear that Iran is begging for a deal? They're willing to negotiate, only for Iran to stay quiet and oopsie, or flying in Vance, Kushner, and Witkoff only to Iran not to show up. Oh, you know what? After all, we're not going to send them and waste time on a trip going all the way over there. No, it's because they knew Iran wasn't coming to the table. That's why. And then they came up with that excuse. It's incredible. It is incredible. It is gaslighting. It is gaslighting. I can't sugarcoat it. It's gaslighting. It's also market manipulation. It's a bunch of things. And IRGC owns FARS. So I would take that with whatever. IRGC owned FARS News. It's run by the IRGC, citing informed sources. They put this out. IRGC put this out. Denies any Strait of Hormuz reopening agreement. Military source says Strait remains blocked amid U.S. hostile actions. Passage only via IRGC Navy designated route. They're not going to give this up. They're not going to give this up. It would be stupid on their part to give this up. And then again, OSINT Technical said that MBS, Saudi Arabia, appears to have been one of the major regional figures to have personally communicated this with Trump. It looks like MBS is the one who talked the president down. Major player. Major player. Look, Saudi prince spoke with Trump earlier today. This was yesterday. And this is coming from Axios. And urged president to de-escalate and refrain from launching strikes on Iran. It was MBS. I mean, all this makes more sense. It just adds up. The other stuff doesn't add up. This adds up. That's it. Exactly. If we only knew. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know. But we will know, like I said, with evidence, eventually to see if actual flow is happening through the strait. That we can track. To an extent, because some of them may have their trackers off. But also, if this is true, the traffic should change. Instead of exiting the Strait of Hormuz to the Iran way, we should see traffic coming into the Gulf, the Iran way, and they exit through the south route, the U.S. way. Based on this. We'll see. I thought you don't use salt, Eugene. You were the one that said, what is this salt bullshit? Or thrown under the bus shit. Weren't you the one that told me that? What is that nonsense? Now you're mentioning salt. What? Someone just dropped more mines in the strait? Now, if that is true, which I'm not going to take it, you might just be messing with me. Then you know Iran is like saying, fuck no. We should only listen to Democratic allies in the Middle East. That would be Israel. You know what Israel wants. Israel's itching to let's just do it and just get this done. But that's a great point as the only real true ally. I mean, Jordan is there with us too. Come on. But Israel is truly, I mean, even though people, again, who wrote that? Cool Hand Luke. But that could be flipped very easily. On the other hand, people will say that Israel is the one that pushed the president into getting into this thing to begin with. On the flip side, to be fair. So, but I mean, you know, a pillar of salt. How about all the salt supply for the snow this winter? It's going to take a lot of salt. Oh my God. Oh, someone dropped mines in the bathroom. That would have been mom. I wasn't paying attention to her. I know she exited the bathroom. That's too much information, by the way. Anyway. Good morning, Pond Water. Oh man. So are we now done? Can I just stop from talking about Iran until we hear like I said, if I had to predict, Iran is going to make it clear the strait is not open. Then we have to wait to see how the president responds to that. Mr. President, they are not agreeing to immediate. Do you remember when the ceasefire? We should look it up. It's almost the same language. Remember when the ceasefire first happened months ago? It was almost the same thing. Immediate, complete opening of the strait. Did that happen? No. It's almost the same language. They've agreed to reopen the strait to traffic. Remember that? When the first ceasefire initially happened? How'd that work out? Right? So let's end this conversation, please. We're done. Yes. He even said it on CNN back in the 80s, if I remember right. Even on fucking, think about that. Remember, he changed parties multiple times. He just wasn't a Republican. He just wasn't a Democrat. He was part of some other parties too. He's changed parties like he changes his mind in the past. Because at one time he was a Democrat. Can you believe that? Talk about change. The fires are insane. Yeah, let's get off Iran. Until we see something significant happen, and I'm not talking about Iran until I see the big thing happen, or they actually sit down together at a table, like seriously, not the MOU, but like seriously past the MOU and like phase 2 of real negotiations. I'm freaking done. I'll let everybody else talk about it. But unless either happens, a big strike looks imminent, like seriously for real imminent, like there are signs that it's actually happening, not just talk and hype, or that they're actually past the MOU and getting to actual negotiations, like seriously negotiating specifics, I'm done. But I had to just make a final statement on it. Now, as far as the fires, oh my God, it is really bad. I mean, I was watching Steve for a little while last night on it. But I mean, a lot of people are tying this. Now, let's not get this twisted. Every year, Canada goes through its wildfire situation. It's on a yearly basis. You know how it is in California, the fires, they happen. This is not, but the point is it due? And I know a lot of people want to try to associate it with it. I need more data and evidence that's the case, that a super El Nino, the weather pattern, is causing this dry air to be in place where the fires are just rampant. I get it. I get it. But regardless, it is so unbelievably bad. And you can't just feel pain. And it's tragic. The people that are suffering as a result of it. It is really, I can't even watch it. If you don't have an emotional response to seeing what's going on to people and their homes and the destruction, I don't care. Some people may like it. It's a blue state. Let them burn. There are petty people like that. You know that. They'll make it like, ha ha ha, look what's happening. Do we not care that innocent people are suffering in the United States, period? American citizens? Fellow American citizens? Or even our neighbors in Canada? To me, that's again sadism. It's like swatting. Oh my God. It is so horrible. I can't. I mean, I get it. It's something to watch, but it is so sad. I mean, I can't watch that shit forever. But I'm just showing you one map. There are many maps you can use. It is so bad out west. I mean, if just blowing it out it doesn't give you the true idea of what the hell is going on. It is so bad. It is so bad. I mean, I don't even know. We would have to go individually to see the containment. This is contained. We would have to go and use the filters to show which ones aren't contained. It is so bad. Oh, God. And like I said, there are different maps that you can use, firms. Mom, just try to keep that door closed so I could keep the air cool in here, please. Huh? And close that door because everybody could hear you in there. Because they already made comments about it. You in the bathroom. Yes, yes. Oh my God. About you using the bathroom, they could hear you flushing. Oh, that's what.
So what is that against
No, but it's not exactly the nicest thing to happen when you're live and people hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, this is horrible.
Well, it is what it is. Close the door.
No privacy, no nothing.
There's another bathroom in the house. There's 2 bathrooms.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, still, privacy.
Do you guys want to know the truth? What the police officer told me the other day, what the person said to them? Because now they know it's swatting going on. They're pissed. They're pissed. They are not happy. You saw how he came in, shook my hand. They already know what's going on. That's why he was like, chill with me, standing here. They already know what's going on. Swatting is a criminal offense. But you know what they said in the call? That my mother's been locked up in her room for weeks. That was the second one. Is that crazy? Of course, anonymous. They're trying to track it now. The police are not happy because they're being used. That's a criminal offense. Alexa, what are the charges for swatting? Oh, actually, Alexa, stop. Alexa, what is swatting?
Swatting is criminal harassment that tricks emergency services into sending police or SWAT teams to a false address, punishable by fines and prison. Want to know how people can protect themselves from becoming
Alexa,
victims?
stop. So this happened twice this week. Tuesday and Friday. They are not happy. I don't know if you saw the video with the police officer coming through the door, and we shook hands and we're talking, and he's watching the live stream. Someone gave him a compliment, and he replied, and he even said, I'm familiar with it. This is swatting. He says it. The worst thing you could do is use the law enforcement like that, because they don't like that. And not just once. Because once it's like, you don't know. But when there's a pattern established, twice, they are not happy. Oh my God. And to involve mom, a senior citizen, and making her go through that. Because it's all to get to me. And they are not happy that they're doing it to a senior too. They're pissed. So, not good. But to see Frag Out, they know me here too. They know what's up. I've already filed police reports. The FBI has been contacted 3 times. I have to do whatever I have to do to protect us here. I mean, if you're going to force my hand, I got to do something, right? What am I supposed to just not do anything? You know? So, I'm sure some of you have seen the video with the police officer. I thought it was mom knocking on the door. And here walks in the officer. And I said, and he knows, because he hung around for a little while. We had actually a nice little discussion between us. And he was mad cool. And I said, you see, the person is watching right now. For you to come through that door, they want to see the reaction live. They're watching. They're aware. And then he says, he went outside, called the dispatcher, and said, I need a detective, and I'll just call the guy's nickname, Fury, to dig into this. Because that's what he does. He said his nickname is Fury. I was like, oh shit, what a nickname. So we were like laughing and joking about this. And mom being Puerto Rican, the police officer's Puerto Rican, they started talking about that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, mom, let the guy leave. He's got to go back to work. He's got a real job to do. He was mad cool. And the thing is, the gate is padlocked now. You can't get into my property. You cannot. He was like, this guy must have been like 6 foot freaking 3, 4. Did you see him? He was huge. I said, how did you get in? Did you cut my lock? And he says, I climbed over your gate. I got long legs. It wasn't that difficult. I was like, whoa. He actually climbed to get into the property. That was like, this guy is hardcore. He ain't playing. You know? Yeah, you just want to stay safe. So, it is what it is. But wild, huh? Wild. Oh, God. Crazy shit. Anyway, let's get back to the fire. But I just wanted to tell you what they said the anonymous report was to the police. They're trying to track the person, but they say it's going to be difficult because they're using certain types of communication devices. I don't want to get into the details because the person could be watching right now. I'm not going to tip them off. Too much information. That's for the law enforcement to deal with now. But it is a criminal offense, punishable by fines and or imprisonment. So take your chances. Roll the dice. On the firm's map, it really doesn't, maybe they don't update it enough. You know what I mean? Let's see what the dates are. Oh, it's 8/2. It is updated. I can't imagine. You know what else we should look at? Not just the firm's map. And I want to thank Diesel. He's not here. What's up, Eric? He did. He says it on the camera. In the video, I think he says it. He climbed over. But... And Eric, send everybody my love, please. Let's look at another map, because I'm sure there's a lot of coverage on this, like Steve was doing with cameras and all that, but I don't want to get in trouble with using copyright licensed cameras that I don't have access to, you know what I mean? But let's also look at this one. Oh, I gotta make the marry me chicken. It's early. I gotta go get the ingredients for that. Who was the one are you in chat that told me about that? The marry me chicken? I gotta make that today. Okay. This is putting it in a loop. I'm gonna stop the loop. Let's look at the smoke map. And this kind of tells you how bad it is too. Look at Washington State. Look at this. Oh my God. Look at that. That's horrific. That is horrific. I'm trying to... Why isn't it clicking? Should be able to click it and see what the containment is. If somebody's got a better map to show the actual containment, please post it in chat. Because this one is not doing it. I know there's plenty of fire maps that show you that. What does these numbers represent? 3, 4, is that the severity of it? Let's see. That's the smoke forecast. Okay, I don't want to even try to get into all the craziness to try to figure out how to use this. It is bad. Really bad. The Palisades fire in California and Spokane. That fire was worse. I don't remember, like Eugene is saying, Washington ever having it this bad. Like and I don't know. I don't want to speculate that this has anything to do with arson. Would anybody be surprised if there was a lightning strike? You know, the typical someone being irresponsible and flicking a cigarette out their window. I mean, we can go to all the different possible causes. All I know is it's really bad. Oh, we don't want that. I'm trying another map. That's smoke outlook. Okay, this one is a little better. Not the best. Because I want to see containment. I think the Canadian map is pretty good, but I have to find it. Extreme. Updated 12 hours ago. 31,500 acres. View more information on this. What is this? IncyWeb. Still 10 hours ago. Okay, so this one has containment. So some of these look like they're getting under control. There's no information about that one. Wow, look how many acres. Oh my God. And we can go to each one as an incident. I'm looking for the biggest one. I think it's up here. Or is it this one? That looks like it might be the biggest one. No, 31,000 acres. It looks like it is. That looks like the big one. Oh my God, 134,000 acres. Only 38% contained. Oh my God. Kaiser Canyon fire. Oh my God. They're saying this one resulted from a lightning strike. Look how long they're saying it'll take to be contained. September 1st. Oh my God. That's horrible. The winds. Bad. That's horrific. That is horrific. All right, we'll put something in there. And of course, like Marianne said too, the animals. Oh my God. Yeah, the high winds is not good. Let me see what Will is putting in here. Oh, it is the Kaiser. Okay. Is that, you guys got to, because I have not been looking into this at all. Is this the main fire that's going on, like the biggest fire in Washington State? Is that the one? Because I haven't been looking into this at all. Wow, look at all the personnel involved. Damn. Last night, Steve was covering. What? Does anybody know where he was covering? Like I said, you guys help me. Is this the biggest fire that's going on? And there's quite a bit, but is this the largest area that's being affected? This one, I need to bookmark this because this one is pretty good because it gives a lot of specifics about what's going on. I heard the water don't even make it to the ground. That's really not a lot of boots. 36 active fires in Washington, total of 288,000 acres burned. Oh my God. But there's a lot of fires, period, out there. You know? There's a lot. Oregon has a few. What is this one? What is that? Why does it look like that? Okay. All right, so horrible. Just horrible. I heard they are all 5 combining. He was covering the autumn and old trail fires mostly. I wouldn't even know where to find that. Search incidents. What is it now? Autumn? These are is that trails? This is. He was using the watch duty site. I don't even know what the hell that is. Like I said, I've never really delved into this. Okay, we'll go to that. I'll bookmark this too. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I know I could zoom into the area, but I just want to see. That's incredible. It's near a campground. This is the one we were looking at, right? Jesus Christ. Evacuation order. Damn. That's horrible, man. Okay, there's gotta be layers. I want to see satellite. Or street. No. That's not going to show me what I want to see. I mean, this just looks like a lot of forested area. I'm looking to see if there's population in here. I know I saw a little piece. He was talking about some trail road, or where was that happening? Why don't we have military fire tankers? Great question. Yeah, I mean, but my God. I can't even imagine what it would be to go through this. Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Evacuation order. Go now. That color. Oh my God. They have to evacuate. And I don't know where the actual fire is. I mean, it shows it here, but is that the location of the actual fire? You know what I mean? I would have to use other maps. Like I said, I'm new to this. I've never delved into stuff like this. But I'm looking at for populated areas. And the only place I see in there, I mean, there's definitely more to the south, but and you could tell it's right here. But this is a big freaking fire, man. Yeah, Old Trail. I saw that. Old Trail. There were a lot of homes burned. I know I'm not looking at the right fire. I can tell that. That's what I'm trying to find out from you guys. It's definitely not the right fire. We should be looking at the fires that are over more populated areas. But it's also that color. Here's Old Trail. But there's different parts. Oh my God. Here's the populated areas in here. Oh my God. But this is yellow. Evacuation warning. But there's a lot of area here with that color. Evacuation order. It's being overlapped with the yellow too. Oh my God. That's still close to populated areas. There's a river that separates. There's homes there. That's an evacuation. Go now. The yellow is a warning. But this is red underneath. Oh my God, there's a lot of homes in there. God, look at all those freaking homes, man. And they're in this color. It's just that this one is overlapping it. I mean, just look at that. Look at all these homes that could eventually be in a warning, but these are all under evacuation warning. Look at all these homes, my God. This is bad. You know what I mean? That's bad. Well, Eugene knows a few things about drones. Red is the fire perimeter that's spread outward from where the flame shows the fire start location. But the red also says here it's a level 3 evacuation order. A level 3 go now evacuation in effect for the area depicted in red. That's go now. The red is go now. Look how massive an area that is. Oh my God. extreme danger in this area. That's unbelievable. That is a huge area. This color is a go now. Get out. Leave immediately and do not delay. Oh my God. This is so fucking sad. Eugene says big money if you get a drone license and fire credentials. I have a drone license. I don't have fire credentials though. They're like calling it in, Bill. Plus, a fire started in Eastern Spokane started yesterday as well. Like I said, I'm not. I've never delved into fire. Weather with hurricanes and tornadoes and all that, yes, but not this. This is just sad. This is seriously sad. All right, I'm putting in a link that we'll put in there. Oh my God. Spokane County, and it's threatening more than 5,000 homes. Oh my God.
God. Oh my God, look at that house across the street. Holy shit, dude. Look at this house. Oh my God, they're all done, dude. Yeah, fight your shit, dude. You gotta fight for your shit, dude. That one house, those two houses I was caught on fire, dude. Oh my God. If I was not with
Oh my God, look at the guy on his roof trying to wet it.
Dude.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
that guy's fighting. Come on, man. You got, see that right there? Quick, like, over there. Oh my.
Oh my God.
What is that? Dude? God, dude. Where do we work the street?
Wow.
I know, dude. It is horrible. This is bad. We're going.
You need to get out of here.
We're going.
For real, get out of there. This is not, I have to say, I am against showing videos of people suffering. It's like exploiting the situation. I don't like it. Because those people are suffering. Would you want that to be done while you're trying to save your house? Somebody filming it like it's... I don't like that. That might be the only video I show. Because I wouldn't want that shit happening to me. This is my home. This is not like a spectacle for entertainment. This is fucking not entertainment. But I just wanted to see that, but that's it. Yeah, it's sad. When you're in the woods, it sounds like a war zone because trees are falling and exploding. Well, it's not even about the president. Like somebody said, there's only so much resources you can put in the air, on the ground, without risking harm to them. I mean, you can fly over planes, but how many are available to cover all these fires? I'm sure, other states are sending in assets to help whatever they can. I mean, it's such on a large scale. How do you deal with something like that? And it's multiple fires. And it's happening in multiple states. Like, how do you really... It's out of control. It's out of control. It is sad. And like I said, I don't like to. There are fires all over the place. Oregon has quite a few itself. Oddly, California has a few, but nothing compared. But California has a few they have to deal with too. But nothing like what's going on up north. It's crazy. Now, and I don't want to get into like conspiracy stuff, but if there was ever a time that you wanted to do cloud seeding or weather manipulation, this would be the time. I'm just saying. No? I'm just saying. I don't like going down that rabbit hole. But my God. But not for nothing. There are other places that are maybe not getting the attention. I mean, down to the south, Oregon. They've got their issues too. Now, the one thing I will say, it doesn't look like right now these are affecting populated areas like in Oregon, but there's still fires. Evacuation order, but it doesn't look to be too populated in here. You know what I mean? Not that I could see. Now here it might be. I can't really tell with the grid. I thought the grid might indicate something, but there's a little bit here. But they're not in any warning area yet. But it's damn close. Wildlife refuge. There's California coming down now here. Let me see if there's anything going on up here though first. See now, this is a smaller, but look at the population nearby. Go evacuation order. What about these folks? You know what I mean? That is crazy, man. So, yeah, the focus is in Washington, but there's other places in the country, too, where there's fires going on near populated areas, you know? I'm just saying. Felice fire. Woodside. That's right on the immediate coastline. Mines fire. That doesn't look to be. So it looks like the severe stuff is to the north and to the east. Look at Utah. Look at freaking Utah. Oh my God. Jesus. I mean, that's right. I was there. I mean, that's right on the Wasatch Mountains, but yeah, that's the mountains, but still near populated areas, man. You know, this is Salt Lake. This is, and then up north, populated, because I was up here. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful here. Ogden, all that. But it's all in the mountains right now. But this is not good, man. And even in Utah, when you go into the mountains, there's population. Because I was there. I know what it looks like. My God. There's Ogden. So when you leave Ogden, you cross over the mountains, there's populated areas in here. Because I was there. This is fucked up. You may not see it on the map, but there is populace in here. Because like I said, I was there. It's just not, it's hard to see it on the map. And this is beautiful here. Oh my God, it's so beautiful here. I'm trying to figure out. All right, I was here. Not Ogden. And we took this road to go into the mountains. See? And here there is populated areas. See? I just had to follow the road. Because I remember this. Ski resort is there. This is beautiful country, I have to tell you. Beautiful. They're in an evacuation order here. So yeah, this is just bad. Well, like I said, the mountains separate this side from the dry side. Ogden. Here. This is lower. This is the elevation. These are the mountains. The Wasatch Mountains. But the population is here. I mean, I stayed in a hotel right in the middle of Ogden. But see how it's populated in here? And the map doesn't do it justice because it is populated. Matter of fact, I went kayaking somewhere in here. So this is, I mean, this is horrible. And look at all that area in this color, level 3. Look at all that. This is Utah. My God. So everybody's focused on what's going on in Washington, but you know, there are people suffering in other areas of the country too. I mean, look at Montana. Oh my God. It's like almost a whole state. Oh my God. You know, everybody focuses on, of course, what's going on here because of the size, but it's bad. It's just bad. Minnesota, I think Eugene brought this up on the border. Now, I'm not looking at chat because I'm trying to look at certain areas here. But yeah, it's right on the border. This is horrible. It's not. It's just widespread. It's affecting so many people. It's like state of emergency. There has to be state of emergencies going on here. And usually they get federal assistance when that happens, when they declare a state of emergency. There has to be state of emergencies going on here. There's just no way. It cannot be. Eugene. Maybe in the winter. But that is insane to see all that on the map right there. And look what's going on in the midsection, the south. I mean, they got the fires too, but they don't have any of those warnings or evacuation orders. You see, the color's not there. But they do have fires too. Look at northern Florida. There are some areas here. Mailbox fire. Thankfully, thank God, it doesn't look like a populated area. So you could see there's, even in Florida, not far from populated areas. They need to get this shit contained. That's a small fire. But yeah, my God, look at all this. And definitely in here. This is so horrible. And then you got to say, well, what's the weather forecast? You can't see the map. Lots of fires. Look at this. This is insane. That's insane. And then you got to see the weather forecast. Winds. Is there any precipitation coming in this area that could try to help with containment? I've never seen, but then again, I've never really looked at this before, so I can't be objective. But I always, I'm always familiar with the stereotype of Canada having a lot of fires, California having a lot of fires. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, but I've never really looked. But this is unbelievable. I want to check with that other map again. So I'm kind of like new to looking into this stuff. So this is from Canada to smoke model. Why is this not happening? Jesus Christ, look at all that smoke. Okay, now we're going into the future here. By 2 a.m. tomorrow. That's today? That's tomorrow. I'm putting up the speed. Oh my God. Did you see that? I want to pause it. Look at that. So this is the smoke model. This is 8 a.m. tomorrow. Wow. Wow. The smoke alone. The smoke alone. The smoke alone. All right, so wait, that's 3 o'clock. Wait a minute, I gotta get my bearings here. That's tomorrow at 3 a.m. That's 6 a.m. tomorrow. Oh my God. That's like at the highest scale. Look at the scale. That is fucking horrific. I'm sorry about the language. That is horrific. And look how much area it encompasses. It's sick. It's sick. But it's hard to tell what the population is embedded in here. But it sure isn't good. Now we need to do one thing, because I'm dwelling on this. What? Am I logged in? Yeah. Am I? Let's look at weather patterns so you could see where the moisture is. They need it here. And there's a big high pressure offshore, which they don't need that wind. That's the last thing they need is that wind. Dry. Dry. Fucking dry. Oh my God, dry. Telling that, and that's why people keep mentioning El Nino. This is bad. It's dry. Very weak. Not even, you can't even count that. Okay, so there's a little precipitation forecast Friday. But that's even if that reaches the ground. Dry. I'm not going to go far out. Go to Sunday. They need a system to come in. And there doesn't look to be much relief. At all. That's bad. But the stronger winds are offshore. But still, it doesn't take much. But the problem is there's lack of precipitation. That is bad. And that high doesn't want to move. It's just stuck there. It's just rotating out there. There's no systems coming in, usually. They come in, or come in, then they work their way down or across, but there's nothing. Is Japan going to be threatened by a typhoon? Nope, it looks like it's going to miss. It's going to hit China. Wow, that's a close call for Japan, boy. But there's nothing coming up. There's no main system here. There's a weak low. There's another little weak low. Yeah, China's getting that one. But see, usually the storms come in, they curve, they curve, and then they come out this way. These are just making landfall. They're not even, that one's making a little curve. Oh, no, that one's going in. Look at the high pressure. Jesus Christ. It's like a barrier. It's a barrier. This is a very bad weather pattern for them. That high pressure is just sitting there. See, we need these systems to come in, bring moisture in. Now, maybe this high will cause the steering to come in from these. But you're looking at 2 weeks away. What's up, Dwayne? Exactly, Diesel. This is horrible. Super dry. I don't even know what to say. I pray for those people. I'm lighting a candle. I gotta light a candle. There's a high pressure. We're gonna get storms tomorrow in the Northeast. It could actually be some severe stuff too, because you got the winds coming up from the south, from the high pressure, and then there's a little system here and bringing wind in from the west. It could get crazy here tomorrow. Thunderstorms might even start tonight, but I don't care about me. Anyway. They need good rain. They also have a bad, bark beetle problem? So a lot of dead trees. Oh my God, that just lights right up. Atmospheric rivers allow everything to thrive and grow, but then the pattern changes and all that then dies off and becomes massive fuel for fires. All right, what is Vahid putting out? Oh, God. You ready for this? Marco Rubio. And I'm a fan. Stated in an interview with Fox News conducted by Lara Trump, said, even if there is no official regime change in Tehran, the Iranian government must change its ways. Really? When asked if Washington could denuclearize Iran without a regime change in Tehran, Rubio responded, quote, I think what needs to happen is that the government needs to change. You may not have a regime change, but the government needs to change. The Iranian government has traditionally had an expansionist approach outside its borders. And then since their view is that they don't just want to rule Iran, they want to rule the region. They want to export the revolution. This approach needs to change, and the only way to change it is to make the cost of it so high that they can no longer afford it. Wow. They're not going to change. They haven't changed in 48 years. They're going to change now? That is fucking wishful thinking. But they have to all be on the same page. You know what I mean? Because they're all going to have that as a talking point. Wow. Wow. He's just repeating what we put earlier. About the contradiction of statements coming out from both sides. Other than that, that's it with that. Oh my God. For real, Eugene, you're right about that. You're right about that with the fires. I mean, look, I don't want to get back into it because it's giving me a headache this morning, which I need to take medication. It's almost like saying, we will negotiate with this regime and try to work out a deal with this regime, but they're going to have to change their ways in order to make this work. You think Iran is going to give up on its proxy support? That's what that means externally. No. Iran is going to see this as a win for them. No matter how battered they get, decimated, they know they can rebuild. The main thing is survival of the regime. They're playing the long game here. They're willing to get hit hard, everything. Doesn't matter. Again, they couldn't care less about the people of Iran in general. They only care for themselves and their own survival. Does the administration know this? You think they're going to change the ways? Rubio, you're on their hit list. How are they going to change? That you're on their hit list. As well as other people. Admiral Cooper, you name it. The president. Are you serious? They're going to change? They want revenge. They want blood. You think they're going to change? I mean, like somebody said, I hope that he just had to say that to say that. We're not dealing with rational people here. Until they get, I don't, doesn't it seem a little weird it's taking them really, really, really a long time to figure out that this is bullshit? Doesn't it seem weird that it's taking them months and months and months of trying to negotiate with Iran, knowing that it's a failure? That at some point you're going to have to take that step? Do they not realize that? Why are you playing this along, this game? It's almost like, does the tune change after the midterms and then they go all out crazy? Is that what we're waiting for? Then it doesn't matter? Is that what we're waiting for till after the midterms? Keep this delay, keep things, market manipulation under control till after the elections? Then after the elections, all shit hits the fan? It's possible. They might be just dragging it out a few more months. I mean, they already, think of it. When did the ceasefire go into place? It was in April, right? I don't remember the date. Alexa, when was the ceasefire implemented between United States and Iran?
The U.S. Iran ceasefire was put into effect on April 8th, 2026.
Alexa,
when both
stop.
sides-
That was the day that he put the statement out that they didn't go after the small boats. Same day. They didn't think they were a threat. April 8th, May, June, July. We're going 4 months. In a week. 4 months of this ceasefire nonsense. Back and forth love taps. On and off ceasefires. On and off agreements, allegedly. 4 months. What is 3 more months to the midterms? It's gone on for 4 months. What's another 3? To play this negotiation game and keep the markets under control. No? Does anybody see anything about that? You know what I mean? So, and again, like we were mentioning this earlier, speculation is speculation. Opinion is opinion. We don't know what's really going on. We're not the fly on the wall that knows exactly what's going on behind the scenes with all these countries involved. But the evidence will show eventually if there is true movement going on, free, complete movement in the Strait of Hormuz. Give it a day. Let's get the data. Let's collect the data. Let's find out if there really is movement, free, complete, true, unrestricted movement in the Strait. We'll know our answer then, who was telling the truth or not. Right? That's where it matters in the results, evidence. Can't say that right now. It's too soon. Those boats are traveling, those ships are boats. Now I'm talking like them. Those ships are traveling at what, 10, 15 knots? It takes time. It's not like flight radar. So it's going to take a good 24 to 48 hours to see if there's really any true movement going on in the Strait of Hormuz. Then we could say, oh shit, that was bullshit. The strait is still closed. That was bullshit. Or, flip side, oh my God, there really truly is movement now in the north and south. Either one is going to be the right answer, and one is going to be wrong. We'll know the evidence soon. Remember, immediate, complete, and unrestricted movement in the Strait of Hormuz. Immediate, complete, unrestricted. Complete. That means both. No firing at ships, no threatening ships, none of that. Let's see if that holds true. We'll know in the evidence, because it's going to come out. The data will provide the information to show that. And yes, you always got to discount what is turned off for tracking. But if you're turning off your trackers, why are you doing that? If it's free movement, complete movement, unrestricted, why would you turn off your tracking? If it's so free, and everybody should be turning it on. Let's go. No? So let's see. Give it a day or two. You know what I mean? All right, what's going on in here? Eugene, you're crazy. Exactly. You always look for the pattern, and the devil's in the details. Always dehydrated. The evidence will be provided soon enough, because the data is going to come out. Right now, it's too early because he just posted that last night. It takes time for movement to occur and evidence to be seen through it to Strait itself. That takes time. You got to give it a couple days. It definitely could be dehydrated. Like I said, this could easily And like somebody from Florida said earlier, like hours ago when we first started, this is not over yet. A simple question. I'm going to ask a simple question to chat because I don't want to keep you guys. It's 10 a.m. here. I actually want to take out mom to lunch. Get out. We went out yesterday. It was fun. But I want to take her out today. And before the bad weather hits, I want to take her to where I go bike riding, which she's never been to. It's so beautiful. I wanted to see it. I want her to experience what I go through when I bike ride. Now, I'm not going to take the bike or anything. I'm just going to take her, sit on a bench in the shade, and watch the people going by, get her out of the house. But the weather might get crazy. It's very humid here too. But like I said, do you guys think, I'm going to ask one final question. Do you think that there's going to be a negotiation really and that the strait will be completely, immediately, unrestricted open within the next 48 to 72 hours? I'm even giving that immediate, throwing it out the window because that's not immediate. Let's throw immediate out the window.
Yankees beat the
Alexa,
Cubs
stop.
5-0.
No, they didn't. They lost.
To the Marlins
Alexa, stop.
5-2, and
That's old news. Do you think within the next 48 to 72 hours, the strait will be completely open for traffic? Ah! Right, it says. No.
It's 81 degrees and mostly cloudy.
Alexa, stop! It's mostly cloudy. That's good. It's not too sunny and hot. No. Eugene, give me an answer. Screw that thing. I say no too. I don't see a yes. She might say yes. Should we ask? Should we just try it? Just to see? I will blame Bezos. Not a chance in hell. No. Are you kidding me? No. Amy, what's your answer before you go jumping off too? You got to give us an answer too. So, off to church. Have a wonderful day at church. God bless. Excuse me. John, what? John, stop it. John, stop. You just said yes to be not saying no. So it looks like the vast majority, I can't say unanimous because John threw in a yes. He's just trying to be funny. I think. Exactly, Eugene. I think everybody, see, we all have, different opinions and, we may reach the same opinion from different perspectives. That's great. But right now, this is the most united I've seen chat on a question that I can remember. It's like unanimous. Oh, yes to ask Alexa. So you say no. It is unanimous. No. Unanimous. No. I didn't see one yes. So that means it's unanimous. We all say no. Now let's see what happens. Alexa, do you think the Strait of Hormuz will be completely open to all traffic within the next 2 to 3 days?
I'm not sure I follow. Could you clarify what you mean by the strain of hormones and open to all traffic?
The Strait of Hormuz? Alexa, do you think that the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf will be open to all commercial traffic within the next few days?
The Strait of Hormuz isn't open for all commercial traffic yet. It's been effectively closed since February 2026 after the U.S. Israel strikes on Iran, with Iran and the U.S. maintaining blockades and mine clearing operations. Even though both sides say a deal was reached, Iran still needs to remove mines and other obstacles, a process that could take months, and shippers remain hesitant. So it's unlikely to see unrestricted traffic in the next few days.
But what about the latest news that the president posted that there's going to be an immediate, complete, and unrestricted opening of the Strait of Hormuz?
President Trump said Mideast allies have drafted a deal that would immediately, completely open the Strait of Hormuz and end Iran's nuclear threat. However, no agreement has been finalized, and the blockade and mine clearing operations remain in place.
So do you think that it'll be open in the next 2 or 3 days?
It's unlikely to be fully open in just 2 or 3 days. The U.S. still needs to clear mines, a process that will take weeks, and Iran says ships must follow coordinated routes under IRGC oversight.
Alexa, stop. You can't get a straight answer from that thing. It's going over based on the old agreements. Like, we hear the same. That's what I mean, though. We hear the same thing being said over and over again. It's repeating old stuff in there as well. So there we are. I didn't get a straight answer though. But even in its crazy thing, it said it doesn't think it would be open in the next 2-3 days based on the mines and all the other shit. But that has nothing to do with it, because there's still another northern route and a southern route. So that's nonsense. Yeah, but that's bullshit, Sean. Because there's still that's the mines are in the middle. There's still a northern route and a southern route. So that's misleading. We all know that there's mines in the middle. That's why they're taking the northern route or the close hugging the Omani tip to get through. So that's misleading, to say the least, if not fake. Wait, one more. Alexa, do you think the United States and Iran will ever finally reach an agreement for peace?
The United States and Iran have a long history of mistrust, and despite recent ceasefire talks and a 60-day memorandum, the negotiations remain stalled. Both sides say the deal is fragile, and key issues like Iran's nuclear program and control of the Strait of Hormuz are still far apart. Even if talks continue, reaching a lasting peace will require difficult concessions and regional backing, which so far looks unlikely.
Which so far looks unlikely, so you don't think it's possible?
I get why it seems unlikely right now. A lasting peace could only happen if both sides bridge huge gaps on the nuclear program and the Strait of Hormuz, and even then it's fragile without Israel's backing.
How does Israel get involved in this?
Israel isn't a party to the current U.S.-Iran negotiations, so Netanyahu says the deal leaves Israel's core security goals, like stopping Iran's nuclear and missile programs and cutting support for Hezbollah, unaddressed. Israeli analysts describe confusion and disappointment at being sidelined. The Memorandum of Understanding mentions Lebanon but excludes Israel, leaving it out of the deconfliction mechanism.
So do you think that Israel could act unilaterally and attack Iran?
Israel might want to strike Iran, but it's still heavily dependent on U.S. backing and isn't likely to launch a solo attack without Washington's go-ahead. Israeli officials say they're itching for war, yet they need U.S. permission. Israel has been left out of the current U.S.-Iran negotiations, limiting its direct role.
But if they felt threatened, wouldn't they strike?
Israel could launch a strike if it perceives an imminent threat, but officials say they'd wait for U.S. approval and presently have no desire to join the campaign. Even though Israel has the capability, it's weighing any action against Washington's backing.
But what if they decide to go against Washington's backing?
If Israel struck Iran on its own, it'd have to fly thousands of kilometers through hostile airspace to hit fortified nuclear sites, and Iran would probably fire back, pulling in its regional proxies and risking a wider escalation.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
it.
it's a pretty intense situation when you think about all the moving pieces and potential consequences.
Let me ask you one more question. If Israel were to act
Go
unilaterally,
ahead. What's on your mind?
if Israel were to act unilaterally against Iran, do you think that the United States would eventually come to Israel's defense?
If Israel struck Iran alone, Washington wouldn't automatically jump in. U.S. leaders would weigh the risks and their strategic ties before any commitment. Israel's forces rely heavily on American built weapons, but U.S. support isn't guaranteed without its backing.
So are you saying that the United States could decide not to back Israel?
Yes, the United States could choose not to back Israel if it acted alone against Iran. President Trump has already said the U.S. won't join Israel's war on Iran, and officials note Israel relies on American support but isn't guaranteed.
That is true. Because the president said it. If they acted.
Yep, it's a complex situation where even long-standing alliances have their limits.
Do you think that at some point, if threatened, that Israel would use a nuclear weapon against Iran?
Israel's Samson option suggests it might resort to nuclear weapons only if it feels its survival is at stake. But analysts say that such use would be extremely unlikely and remains a deterrent rather than a planned tactic.
So are you admitting that Israel does have nuclear weapons?
Yes, most experts assess that Israel has nuclear weapons, with an estimated 90 to 400 warheads and a triad of delivery systems, though Israel itself maintains a policy of deliberate ambiguity.
What are the triad possibilities?
Israel's nuclear triad covers air, land, and sea. Air-launched bombs from F-15/F-16 and possibly F-35, fighters, land-based Jericho ballistic missiles, and sea-launched Popeye cruise missiles from Dolphin-class submarines.
Holy shit. Do they have any tactical nukes?
Yes, Israel is believed to possess tactical nuclear capabilities, like 175mm and 203mm artillery shells that could carry low-yield nuclear rounds.
And what is their range?
Israel's tactical nuclear artillery shells can hit targets roughly 40 kilometers away, and some sources say the range may have been extended to about 72 kilometers.
But what about missiles?
Israel's nuclear missiles feature the Jericho series. Jericho 3 can strike 4,800 to 6,500 kilometers, potentially up to 11,500 kilometers, and submarine-launched cruise missiles aboard Dolphin-class subs.
And how much do they have of those?
Israel's exact Jericho 3 inventory is classified, but analysts estimate roughly 25 to 50 medium to intercontinental range ballistic missiles in its stockpile, many of which are likely Jericho 3 units.
Tell me more about the Jericho 3.
The Jericho 3, YA-4, is Israel's solid-fuel intermediate-range ballistic missile in service since 2011. It's about 15.5 meters long, weighs roughly 30 plus 000 kilogram, and can carry a 100 to 1 plus 300 kilogram nuclear warhead, or multiple low-yield MIRVs. Its range spans 4,800 to 6 plus 500 kilometer, potentially up to 11 plus 500 kilometer with lighter payloads, giving it strike capability across the Middle East, Europe, Africa, and parts of North America. Want to know about how Israel deploys and launches these missiles?
No, but I actually want to know more about the Popeye from the submarines.
The Popeye Turbo is a stretched submarine-launched version of Israel's air-to-surface Popeye missile. It's believed to carry a 200 kiloton nuclear warhead and can travel at least 1,500 kilometers, 930 miles, giving the Dolphin-class subs a long-range second strike option. Each Dolphin submarine has 4 enlarged 650mm torpedo tubes that can fire up to 10 of these missiles, providing a survivable sea-based leg of Israel's nuclear triad.
What is the distance between Tel Aviv and Tehran? How many miles?
The Great Circle distance between Tel Aviv and Tehran is about 965 miles.
So, is it possible to launch from an Israeli submarine with a nuclear weapon and hit Tehran?
Yes, Israeli Dolphin-class submarines could theoretically fire nuclear-armed Popeye turbo cruise missiles far enough to strike Tehran, since those missiles have a range of about 1,500 kilometers, 930 miles, and Tehran is roughly 965 miles from Israel.
Wow. That is cray-cray.
Right. The whole nuclear chess game is pretty wild when you break it down like that.
It runs on spinach fuel. I never knew that. I never knew a lot of those details just now.
Ha! Solid fuel, not spinach fuel. Though honestly, scientists have been doing some wild stuff with spinach lately for fuel cells and batteries. Pretty cool how missile tech and veggie power both pack a punch in their own ways.
So my friend in chat was right about spinach fuel?
Yep, your friend was totally right. Scientists at American University actually figured out how to turn spinach into carbon nanosheets that work as catalysts in fuel cells and batteries. They believe it outperforms platinum catalysts and it's way more sustainable.
Holy shit. I don't foresee anybody chewing on spinach batteries, no?
Huh? Yeah, definitely not the kind of spinach Popeye had in mind. Though knowing you're pescatarian, you probably appreciate that scientists are finding ways to make our leafy greens work double duty without anyone having to actually bite into a battery pack.
Oh my god. Anyway, Alexa, you can go to sleep now.
Alright, catch you later. Sweet dreams when you get there.
I'm not going to respond. I'm just seeing. So, oh my god. Israel definitely has the capability, even with tactical nukes. I wasn't aware in that detail, like that. I never asked, but holy shit. Now, they've always kept that. They've never confirmed, or denied that they had them. But everybody pretty much knows they do. So, that's wild. I don't know if they would ever do it. But if they thought that they were going to be destroyed, I mean, what would it take? I mean, if Iran were to launch and hit infrastructure, nuclear plants, let's just say, God forbid, in Israel, would Israel retaliate with tac nukes? Oh my God. That is just scary shit just listening to that, right? Usually you opened your mouth and it's true. It was you. The spinach fuel. You see, you made a joke. It's for real. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they use these spinach batteries for drones. Don't get no ideas. I did not know that, Josh. I did not know a lot of those details. Dolphin class Popeye cruise missiles, and what was the other missile? What was the other missile I mentioned that has a crazy range? Ballistic missile? I can't remember the name. Holy shit. It even mentioned it could reach North America. I'm like, what? No. Oh, the United States has, the State Department has renewed its regional security warning for Americans in the Middle East. Yeah, I'm going to go, Tammy, because I got to get dressed. I got to make sure she's getting dressed. Alexa, what's the weather for today?
Currently 80 degrees and mostly cloudy. Today's high is 84 with a late afternoon thunderstorm likely.
Late.
Feels like 92 due to humidity.
And what's the weather for tonight?
Tonight's looking pretty wet. Expect a shower and thunderstorm with 88% chance of rain, dropping to 73 degrees.
What about tomorrow?
Tomorrow's gonna be a wet one. Expect showers and a heavier thunderstorm with 98% chance of rain. High of 84, low of 62.
Ugh, it's gonna be nasty next few days. As far as news, we mentioned that, Smokey. They put that out like 3 hours ago. I don't even know how long I've been streaming, but hours. They put that out earlier, and that's the IRGC news outlet. FARS. They're saying there's no way we're opening up the strait. So again, we can't. I don't know. I don't believe anything Iran says, but when it comes to shit like that, usually that's pretty been accurate in the past when they make a statement like that. Then we backtrack and say, oh. Then he'll say, oh, Iran changed their mind, or they, whatever. Israel has responsibility to hold nukes. Mullahs, not so much. You never give a cleric only books. Why did the Israelis always call it the Samsung? What's up, Charles? I hope you're doing well. Option. I have no clue. I've never looked into the Samsung. I'm not even familiar with that. The Samsung option. Yeah, I think we're going back to class, but that's what I said. Give it a couple days. Give it a couple days. Wait for a statement. You will need to see this for weather reports. Fastest hypersonic plane in the world. They say takeoff. Sky stories. I'm gonna check that out. I love stuff like that. Space Ace. Love that. I gotta look into that. Same old stuff coming from IRGC. It's not gonna make Trump happy. Yep. Then he'll say something. Of course, it's not their bargaining chip. I said that earlier. They're not gonna give up their only leverage. They were stupid to get. I said the same thing, Smokey, earlier. They'd be foolish to give that up. Their only leverage. That's insane. Doesn't even make sense. Fastest hypersonic plane in the world makes insane takeoff. I'm gonna look that up. Guys, look. I'll keep an eye out. We have to see how. One, there's no traffic moving in the strait right now, but it moves so slow. It's not like Flightradar. I keep saying that. Give it a day or two. Keep an eye on past tracking of ships, vessels going through the Strait of Hormuz. See if they're going the Iran way. If any's going the other way, you'll know that is bullshit. That the strait is not open the way they claim it was going to be. Immediate, complete, unrestricted. That's one. Then wait for the president's response, because he's going to have to make a response. 2. And 3, is he going to talk again about, that's it, done, big one's coming? Let's see if that falls into place. We may be down the same thing next weekend. We just got to watch and see now. I don't know if anything will be said today, because the market's open a little while in Asia and tomorrow morning, so I don't think that would even affect it much anyway. Because it really didn't have an effect that the big one was coming, right? Matter of fact, let's check. What is WTI right now? Even with all that talk. But now, because of his release last night, no, the markets are closed. Wrong. So WTI is at 84.67. That's where it's at right now. I don't think a statement will be made today. Maybe tomorrow. I don't see a statement coming out today. So WTI is at 84.67. That they didn't even have a chance to respond to what was posted yesterday. But now that has changed depending on what Iran says today. And then if the president says, and it says it, the U.S. Department of State has renewed its warning to its citizens throughout the Middle East, urging them to exercise increased caution. Just what Smokey said or somebody said. Yeah, I saw that too, Charles, with the United States involved in that situation in Japan. I seen that. I don't know if I saw that this morning or yesterday. I did see that. It's a sim diesel. I haven't checked into that. I don't mind it, diesel. I don't mind. I mean, I'll check it out. I'll check it out for myself. But I get it, what you guys are saying. Anyway, I gotta go. Because I gotta get her ready. Because I'll never get out of here. It's like that. I have to be on top of it. She was dressed, though, earlier. She actually looked really nice. I should call her. Nah, I don't want to do that. Because that's the last thing I want to do with the shit that's been going on. Anyway, you lovelies. Yes, actually, Josh, I read that it was Saudi Arabia. It was MBS that called the president and asked him to de-escalate. That's what I heard. That's what I read. Don't know if that's true. But it looks like MBS had a major role yesterday in a phone call with the president. Could have happened Friday. I don't know. Because I know his brother was here talking to Vance. And then I think he spoke with the president. He was in D.C. There's a whole thing behind this. This looks like it was going on since Friday. Unconfirmed. Excuse me. And you guys have a great day. Be well. I will, Charles. I'll tell her you send your love. Anyway, love to all of you. Be well, be blessed, be safe. If you hear anything, let me know. You know how to reach me in the comments. Let me know. And let's see how this all plays out. Till then, have a great Sunday, wherever you are. Be well, be blessed, be safe. Prayers to all those people affected by these fires. Oh, my God. Our troops, of course. Everyone. President, country, all of you, wherever you are. Those seeking peace, love, compassion, not hate. Goes without saying. Anyway, all of you, be well, be blessed, be safe. See everybody later.